Shane, do you know what is still scientifically almost every year comes out as the best form of exercise?
I'd have to guess, and I didn't look, so I don't know.
Okay,
so
good.
Yeah, I'm psyched to find out though.
Good. What would you guess?
Well, I would say it's probably walking.
It is, even
okay.
though cross training and hiking and your rock climbing, all that stuff is of course great, but I'm amazed. And this has been, oh gosh, for at least the last 10, 20, if not longer, but they have scientifically measured, and there are studies that are always coming out about the best form of exercise, especially as we age. And walking, still, I saw one right before coronavirus, and there have been a few since then. Walking is still the best. Do you know what the second one is? Did you look at your list? Because it's on there too, but that's okay. Do you know what the second best is for overall? Gardening. And that comes in as well. So, and for those of us who are, especially with it turning into winter, and we're still in a lot of us are going back into lockdown and that kind of stuff, who are thinking, well, I can't do this. 2 stories, and there have been so many more, but 2 stories that I would talk about when I gave this when Corona first started. There was a man in France who had a 6-foot, lived in, I'm assuming Paris, who had the typical like 6-foot balcony, not quite the Juliet, but no big patio. He ran a marathon every week just on his 6-foot balcony. So if you think you can't walk wherever you are, he did. And then there was another one about a man who had a regular suburban type backyard. So not huge, but like a postage stamp. And he would run a marathon most weeks as well, just in his backyard when we were first initially under, lockdown and stuff. So you can always find ways and places to walk. The other thing that you can do to instantly change your energy, get out of that monkey mind thinking, is to use nature. If you can physically get into nature, even just stepping outside, even if you live in a city, just stepping outside, taking some breathing, exercises, standing in the sun, whatever you want to do. And there's actually been, you don't even have to actually get into nature, although that's the best, but even just looking at pictures of nature. There was a study a few years ago in the Pacific Northwest, either Oregon or Washington it started at one prison, but they ended up expanding it. Just changing the TVs in the workout rooms at a male prison to show nature scenes decreased the amount of fighting. Just so you don't even have to physically be in nature. That's of course better, but even just looking at pictures or putting something on your screen can still have that effect. And there have been tons of studies. In the last couple of years, I've seen a Japanese study and a Scandinavian study where we think, our monkey mind thinks, oh, if I can't walk, 10 miles a day, or I can't get outside for an hour, I'm not going to do it. That's not true. The Japanese and the Scandinavian study, it ends up being like 180 minutes for like a week. So it's like less than 20, 30 minutes a day can have huge, therapeutic benefits. Again, do your own research. There are all different kinds of, things about it. And if you can't get into nature, the next best thing is to watch it. So much so that they ended up painting a lot of the prison green and bringing in more of that nature, because the men would be asking, even after their workout time ended, like if they were on good behavior and they had extra time, almost all of them would say, can I just stay here and watch the nature on TV? Because even if they weren't aware of it, it was having that calming effect. So the healing power of nature, I can't say enough about that. And the next one is any kind of, I've seen more studies around dog therapy, but really any animal, there are so many studies that talk about, if you own a pet, especially a dog, you're likely to live longer. They reduce your blood pressure. It increases your cortisol, which is that feel good, that new moms get, that loving thing that just, again, instantly, as I call my dogs, they're just, and children, they're just natural Prozac, they're just and they're so good at being in that present moment. That is so counter and so good at countering the monkey mind, because the monkey mind is never in the present moment. It is equally stressed out about what's going to happen in the future, and it is equally worried and anxious about what's happened in the past. And there's a great Eastern saying, which I'm going to probably sadly totally butcher, but if you have 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the future, you're kind of crapping on the present. So part of what I love about yoga and meditation in general is so much of it is focused on the here and now. And the more you can do that, and man, animals, horse therapy, nature, I mean, those are just key to snap us out of worrying about how we're going to pay the bills tomorrow and stressed about what we did yesterday or 10 years ago or 50 years ago or whatever.